Hello everyone, welcome to this new episode. Today we'll discuss about a new section, deploy and manage computer resources. Inside that, today we'll focus on chapter configure virtual machines. Review cloud services responsibilities. The primary advantage of working with virtual machine is to have more control over installed software and configuration settings. Azure Virtual Machine supports more granular control than other Azure services such as Azure App Service and Azure Cloud Services. Things to know about virtual machines. Virtual machines, this basis of the Azure Infrastructure as Service model, as is an instant computing infrastructure provisioned and managed over the internet. The virtual machine provides its own operating system, storage, networking capabilities, and can run wider range of applications. You can implement multiple virtual machines and configure each machine in the different software and settings to support separate operation scenarios such as development, testing, and deployment. You can use virtual machines to quickly scale up and down with demand and pay only for what you use. The responsibilities associated with configuring and maintaining virtual machines is shared between Microsoft and the customer. The following chart shows how responsibilities are handled across IaaS machines, PaaS and SaaS and on-premises offerings. Things to consider using IaaS and virtual machines. Consider test and development, consider website hosting, storage, backup and recovery, high performance computing, big data analytics, extended data centers. Let's plan virtual machines. So, start the network, choose a name for virtual machine, decide the location of virtual machine, determine the size, review the pricing model, identify which Azure storage to use with the virtual machine, select operating system of virtual machine. These are the things we need to know. Network configuration. Virtual networks are used in Azure to provide networking capacity between Azure virtual machines and other services. Virtual machines and services that are part of the same virtual network can access one another. By default, services outside the virtual network cannot connect to the services within the virtual network. You can, however, configure network to allow access to external service, including your on-premise service. Network address and subnets aren't trivial to change after they are configured. If you plan to connect your private company network to Azure services, make sure you consider the topology before you put any virtual machines into place. Virtual machine name is used to as a computer name which is configured as part of the operating system. You can specify the name up to 15 characters in a Windows machine and 64 characters on a Linux machine. Virtual machine name is also defined as manageable Azure resource. It's not trivial to change later. You should choose that are meaningful and consistent, so you can easily identify what the virtual machine does. A good convention uses several of the following elements in the machine name: environment name, location, instance, product or service, role. Let's consider how to name the first development web server for your company that is hosted in US and South Central region. In this scenario, dev US web m1 dev stands for. Here dev stands for the development, USC identifies the location, web identifies the machine as a web server, and suffix 01 shows the machine is the first in the configuration. Virtual machine location. Azure has data centers all over the world filled with servers and disks. The data centers are grouped into geographic regions like West US, North Europe, Southeast Asia, and so on. The data center provides redundancy and availability. Each virtual machine in a region where you want the resources like CPU and storage to be allocated. The regional location lets you place the virtual machines as close as possible to your users. The location of the machine can improve performance and ensure you meet any legal and compliance or tax requirements. There are two other points to consider about virtual machine location. The machine location can limit your available options. Each region has different hardware available and some configurations aren't available in all regions. There are price difference between locations. To find most cost-effective choice, check for your required configurations in different regions. Machine size like different memory, storage options, different virtual sizes. Best way to determine the appropriate machine size to consider type of the workload your machine runs on. Azure Storage, Azure Managed Disk handle Azure Storage account creation and management background for you. You specify the disk size and the performance type, standard or premium. Azure creates and manages the disk. As you add disk or scale the virtual machine up and down, you don't have to worry about the storage being used. Virtual machines pricing options, compute expenses, consumption based, reserve virtual machine instances, storage cost. So compute expenses as price per hour but billed on a per minute basis. The virtual machine is deployed for 55 minutes. You are charged only for 55 minutes of usage. You are not charged for the compute capacity if you stop and deallocate the virtual machine. The hourly price varies based on the virtual machine size and operating system you select. So if you select consumption based with the consumption based option, you pay compute capacity by the second. You are able to decrease the compute capacity and demand and stop anytime. Use consumption based pricing if you run applications with short term and unpredictable workload so that they cannot be interrupted. An example scenario, if you are doing a quick test or developing an app in a virtual machine. Reserve virtual machine instances. The reserve virtual machine instances option is an advanced purchase of virtual machine for 1 or 3 years in a specified region. The commitment is made upfront, and in return, you get up to 70% price savings compared to pay-as-you-go pricing. RAs are flexible and can easily be exchanged or returned for early termination fees. Use this option of virtual machine has to run continuously. You need budget predictability and you can commit to using virtual machines for at least a year. Storage costs are charged separately for the Azure storage used by virtual machine. The status of the virtual machine has no relation to the Azure storage charges that are incurred. You are always charged for any Azure storage used by the disk. Operating system. Azure provides various operating system images that you can install into virtual machine, including several versions of Windows, flavors and plans of Linux. Azure bundles the cost of operating system license into this price. If you are looking more than just base operating system images, you can search Azure Marketplace. There are various install images that include not only the operating system but popular software tools such as WordPress. The image stack consists of Linux server, Apache Web Server, MySQL database, and PHP. Instead of setting up and configuring each component, you can install an Azure Marketplace image and get the entire stack all at once. If you don't find suitable operating system image, you can create your own disk image. Your disk image can be uploaded to Azure storage and used to create a Azure virtual machine. Keep in mind that Azure only supports 64-bit operating systems. Determine virtual machine sizing. So we are in general purpose is for testing and development. computer optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, GPU. Resizing virtual machines. Azure allows you to change virtual machine size when existing size no longer meets your needs. You can resize virtual machine if your current hardware configuration is allowed. In the new site, this option provides fully agile and elastic approach to virtual machine management. When you stop and deselect the virtual machine, you can select any size available in your region. Okay. Be cautious when resizing production virtual machines. Resizing a machine might require a restart, and that can cause a temporary outage or change configuration settings such as IP address. Okay. Determine virtual machine storage. All Azure virtual machines have at least two disks, an operating system disk and temporary disk. Virtual machines can also have one or more data disks. All disks are stored as virtual hard disks. FHD like a physical disk in an on-premises server but virtualized. Operating system disk. Every virtual machine has one attached operating system disk. This OS disk has pre-installed operating system, which is selected when the virtual machine is created. The OS disk is registered as SATA drive, Serial Advanced Technology Attainment, and labeled as C drive by default. Data and temporary disk might be lost during a maintenance event or when you redeploy virtual machine. During a standard reboot of the virtual machine, the data on the temporary drive should persist. However, there are cases where the data might not persist, such as moving new host. Therefore, any data on the temporary drive shouldn't be data that is critical to the system. On Windows virtual machines, the temporary disk is labeled as D drive. This drive is used for storing page file.sys file. On Linux virtual machines, temporary disk is typically DevSDB. Okay, this disk is formatted and mounted to MNT by Azure Linux Agent. Don't store data in temporary disk. This disk provides temporary storage for applications and process. It is intended only to store data like page and swap files. Data disk is managed disk that is attached to virtual machine to store application data or rather data you need to keep. Data disks are registered as SCSI drives and are labeled with the letter you choose. The size of virtual machine determines how many data disks you can attach and the type of storage you can use to hold the data disks. Things to consider when choosing storage for your virtual machines. Consider Azure Premium Storage. You can choose premium storage to gain high performance, low latency disk support for virtual machines with input-output intensive workloads. Virtual machine disks that use premium storage store data on solid-state drives. To take advantage of speed and performance and premium storage disks, you can migrate existing virtual machine disks to premium storage. Consider multiple storage disks. In Azure, you can attach several premium storage disks to virtual machines. Using multiple disks gives your application up to 256 TB of storage for virtual machines. With premium storage, your application can achieve 80,000 I/O operations per second per virtual machine and disk throughput of up to 2000 megabit per second for virtual machines. Read operations completed. Premium storage yield low latencies. Consider managed disk. An Azure managed disk is a VHD. Azure managed disks are stored in page blobs, which are a random I/O storage object in Azure. The disk is described as managed because it's an abstraction over page flops, flop containers, and Azure storage accounts. With managed disk, you provision the disk and Azure takes care of the rest. When you choose to use Azure Managed Disk with your workloads, Azure creates and manages disk for you. The available types of disks are ultra-solid drives, ultra-solid state drives, premium SSD, standard SSD, standard HDD. Consider managed disks are managed disks are required for single instance virtual machine SLA. Consider migrating to premium storage. For the best performance for your application, we recommend that you migrate any virtual machine disk that requires high IOPS to premium storage. If your disk doesn't require high IOPS, you can help limit cost by keeping it standard Azure storage. Create virtual machines in Azure portal. Okay, we are in a chapter. So these are all the types of images we can create virtual machine. So this is the create virtual machines. The basics tab contains project detail. This tab you can select the OS. This tab network tab provides virtual networks and load balancing. Management tab enables auto shutdown and specify backup details. Advanced tab you can configure agents and scripts and virtual machine extensions. Other settings are available in monitoring and tabs. Let's go to connect to virtual machines. Chapter. There are several ways you can connect to virtual machines. Azure portal supports options for connecting your Windows and Linux servers. Making connections by using Azure Bastion. Following diagram shows how you can connect with SSH and ADP protocols, Cloud Shell and Azure Bastion. Things to know about connecting with Azure Bastion. Azure Bastion is a PaaS service. Azure Bastion provides secure and seamless RDP SSH connectivity to your virtual machines directly over SSL. When you connect via Azure Bastion, your virtual machine doesn't need public IP address. The following example shows virtual machines connection with Azure Bastion in Azure.
Learn how to use Azure Bastion to access virtual machines in this episode of Azure Tips and Tricks. You can use Azure Bastion to connect to your Azure VMs without exposing your VMs to the public internet. Let's see how that works. Here is my Azure VM, and here I can connect to it with RDP, Shush, and with Bastion. Let's do that. The first time you use Bastion with a VM, you have to go through some steps. First, you might need to expand the address range of the VM. That is not needed in my case, so let's go to step 2. Here I need to create the Bastion subnet. I'll leave the address space as it is. And also I don't choose a network security group, but you can if you want to. Create the subnet, and okay, done. What's next? I need to create an Azure Bastion resource. The VM uses this to connect and start a session. Let's see. I have several options. I'll leave the name as it is, and the pricing tier is set to standard. That's fine and enables me to scale the amount of Bastion units as well. This determines how many users can connect to the VM with the Bastion at the same time. Okay, and I'll leave the rest of the settings as they are. Let's create it. Alternatively, I can choose to create an Azure Bastion with my own values, independent from this VM. I'll skip to when it is done. And it's ready. I can now connect to the VM with Bastion. I'll just fill in the admin credentials and connect. There it goes. And this is the VM. This is a secure session with the VM in a browser window. It's the same as using an RDP or Shush client, only now I don't have to go through the public internet. And I can remove the public IP address from my VM if I want. Cool! Azure Bastion is a great way to securely connect to your VM, and it's easy to use. Go and check it out.
Azure Bastion provides secure RDP and SSH connectivity to all virtual machines in a virtual network. Azure Bastion protects your virtual machines from exposing HTTP SSH ports to outside the world while still providing secure access with RDP SSH. Azure Bastion lets you connect to the virtual machines directly from Azure portal. You aren't a client, agent, or another piece of software. Things to know about connecting Windows-based virtual machines. To connect Windows-based machine hosted on Azure, use Microsoft Remote Desktop application with RDP protocol. RDP Remote Desktop app provides graphical user interface session to Azure Virtual Machine that runs any supported version of Windows. The following image shows how to use RDP protocol. Okay, we have to select RDP session. Things to know about connecting Linux-based virtual machines. To connect Linux-based virtual machines, you can use Secure Shell protocol. SSH is an encrypted connection protocol that allows secure sign-ins over unsecured connections. Depend on your organization's policies, you can reuse a single private key pair to access multiple Azure virtual networks and services. You wouldn't need a separate pair of keys for each virtual machine or service you wish to use. Following image shows how to use the SSH protocol to connect to Linux-based virtual machines in Azure portal. Okay, this is how. The public key is placed on your Linux virtual machine or any other service that you wish to use with public key cryptography. The private key remains on your local system. Protect your private key. Don't share your private key. Your public key can be shared with anyone, but only you or your local security infrastructure should process your private key. Interactive lab session. Your organization is planning on using virtual machines in Azure. As an Azure administrator, you need to be able to use virtual machines, quick start templates, use templates to create configure virtual machines, be able to monitor virtual machine activity. So Azure Quick Launch template gallery to deploy virtual machine. Search for a template, edit the template, deploy it, verify, monitor. Let's see. It's loading faster.
Welcome to this exam guide to Exercise 9 of Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. To navigate this guide, follow the prompts on the screen, or use your forward and back arrows. Microsoft Azure Fundamentals is made up of 22 exercises. In this exercise, you'll deploy a virtual machine with a quick start. This exercise is made up of 2 tasks. In the Azure Quick Start Templates gallery, you will find a number of popular and recently updated templates. These templates automate deployment of Azure resources, including installation of popular software packages. Scroll down and browse through the many different types of templates that are available. Search for Windows VM. Select the template named Deploy a Simple Windows VM. Click Deploy to Azure. Your browser session will be The Resource Manager template format uses the JSON format. Review the parameters and variables. Change the name, the default value, to My VM Template. Save your changes. In the Project Details section, under Resource Group, click Provide a name for the resource group, and then click OK. Scroll down. Now, configure the parameters required by the template as shown on your screen. Leave the defaults for everything else. Click Next, Review and Create. Click Create and monitor your deployment. This task is now complete. Click anywhere to continue. In this task, you'll verify the virtual machine. Click the menu button at the top left of your screen and select your new virtual. Click the Monitoring tab. Scroll down to view the monitoring data. Each chart has options to add metrics and change. In the left pane, click Activity. Activity logs record such events as creation or modification of resources. Click Add Filter and experiment with searching for different operations and event types. This exercise is now complete. You can now click below to continue to the next exercise.
That's an amazing exercise. Let's do the knowledge check. The plan must support virtual machines that run various network appliances. You have established security policy for specific data that prohibits exposing SSH ports to external connections. The admin team needs to be able to modify network security settings in inbound and outbound traffic on virtual Windows and Linux virtual machines. Which virtual machine is best for running network appliance? Network appliance. I think compute optimized, right? For security requirements, how can you connect Azure Linux virtual machines and install softwares? Azure Bastion. What effect do default network security settings have on new virtual machine? Let's see. Right. 3 of the questions are correct. I think we need to go summary. Main takeaways are virtual machines is a type of demand scalable computing resource offered by Azure that provides greater control over computing environment. When configuring virtual machines, it is important to consider factors such as network configuration, virtual machine name, location, size, storage, pricing options, and operating system. There are multiple ways to connect to virtual machines. Remote desktop protocol connects Windows-based virtual machines. Secure Shell protocol connects to Linux-based virtual machines. Azure Bastion is fully managed PaaS service that provides secure RDP SSH connectivity to virtual machines directly over SSL. That's it for today. Thanks for watching this. Let's connect on the next session.